Hello and welcome to another Top Gun Academy, Aerospace Academy by StratoCast Level 3, and today we're going to be doing a AI aerospace battle against or in space. So we're going to be using a space map here. So I'm going to add, and this time I'm going to use Corsairs again. Corsairs. Go. A couple of Corsairs, 1, 2, and we are going to create Princess, assign change owner to Princess, and we're going to go select the map to the space map and going to set the deployment zones. So deploying from the north and deploying from the south. I'm going to change the skills as well here to make them both 3-4. That's good. And we are keeping the standard movement rules, and as I said in another video, I will show you the Newtonian movement rules, the advanced movement rules. So we're going to click on done and launch into space. So in terms of ranges, space combat doesn't have altitudes, so there's no Y axis in space combat. We're only going to be dealing with, no Z axis, I should say, just X and Y axis. Like all good 1980s, 1990s space combat, it all occurs in 2 dimensions. Never seen any optional rules to have suggestions about how you could change it. I guess it'd be quite tricky. I can see my opponent is deployed over here. So, and has already moved. So we're going to build up a good head of velocity here. Going to accelerate to our maximum safe acceleration, which is 6. There we go. And we're still well out of range, but you'll soon see that that range is going to close pretty quickly. I'll put the map here so we can see it as well. So they've moved first, and now I can move 6 without even spending any thrust, but I'm going to spend another 6 points of thrust. 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will put me in a straight line. Okay. And we should be getting into range shortly, but that puts me now onto 12 thrust. I could change direction if I wanted to, but that would cost me now 4 thrust points. So you can see the +4 there. So that's 4 thrust points, and that would cause me to make a structural integrity roll. But at the moment we're just going to go straight. The ranges again are still short, medium and long, and the opponent there is out of range. So this is where it becomes a bit more tricky. So I could now decide what I do as far as firing is concerned. I could, since I've lost the initiative, I could slow down a bit, or I could go straight forward and try to overshoot him and put up 16 and force them to try and change direction. Their velocity let's have a look. They're at velocity of 6, which is much more reasonable. So they're going to move at least 6 hexes, and they can spend, looking at the velocity change thing, they can spend 3 hexes. So they could, they've got 6 thrust, they could change hex facing twice. So that gives me kind of limited options here. So instead of just overshooting here, what I might do is I might decelerate by a bit, or I could accelerate more and just overshoot them. Be interesting, see what happens there. So if I accelerate another 1, 2, actually be a really bad idea, because I would then have to spend, so if I accelerate 2, 1, 2 and go to there, I would then have to spend 4 thrust points here to change direction, and that would be too many. So I'm at velocity 12, and actually that'd be even more. At velocity 12, my current velocity, it will cost me 4 thrust points to change here. So I can do that and change direction for 4 thrust points there. Now, because actually I don't even think it's that. I think it's 7 thrust points to change facing at 12 velocity. So this is why I'm going straight into the yellow. But let's try it. Let's go here and turn. So that's 7 thrust points to change facing, and that will give me a structural integrity roll, which is fine. And now we've got a head-to-head. And I failed the structural integrity roll. Here we go. And that means I've suffered structural integrity damage of 1. That is important, because now every time I spend over structural integrity, I am going to cause another structural integrity roll. So it does limit me in future movements. So let's open up. I get my normal weapon arcs here. Now, one of the advantages of space combat over atmosphere combat is no control rolls for no control rolls are necessary for I don't know why that's not allowing me to target. There we go. View Corsair, go target. So no control rolls are necessary for losing control in the atmosphere. I'm going to fire all my weapons, and I'm going to add the right wing medium laser as well. Done firing. And there's our report. So Princess opens up everything as well. I'll get a medium laser crit there. Now, the one thing that you don't get with aerospace fighters that you do get with mechs fighting in space is you don't get decompression. So everything's considered to be certified in space, so there's no worry about decompression rolls. And I got an avionics hit on him. So when you get an avionics hit, you have to make a control roll to see if you go out of control, and you also get a +1 to that control roll. So this could be a good start for me. And I can see in the results here that I needed to make a control roll. I failed that control roll for I made that control roll for exceeding SI, which is my SI is now 5. So because I exceeded my structural integrity, I had to make a control roll and got a 9. And you can see I needed a 4 + 1 for using more than safe thrust, because I used 7 thrust. And they made a control roll because they had an avionics hit, but they passed. So now the movement's going to become a bit more tricky. And you can see that, have I won? There, I've lost initiative. So I'm going first. So at the moment my velocity is still set quite high, but I could spend now, my velocity is 12, so it will cost me quite a lot to change direction. It will cost me 7 points to change facing. Or I could slow down and spend some acceleration there. My movement points are still 6-9, but my stroke trajectory is 5. So if I spend 6 points, I'm going to have to make another control roll. So let's decelerate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's decelerate 6. And when we decelerate 6, that's costing us 6 points. I've still got 3 thrust points left. And at 6 velocity, it cost me 3 points to change direction. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to spend those 3 points for a change direction to there. I have to make an SI check, and I have to make a check because I have exceeded my because I've exceeded the thrust has exceeded the SI. So 1 for the maneuver and 1 for losing control. So I need to make a control roll because the thrust exceeds the current SI in the single hex, and that control roll comes at the end of the turn. But this movement one, the SI, the structure integrity test, happens at the beginning. And interestingly, in this arrangement, neither of us can fire at each other because both of us are out of arc. But now we're at a more reasonable speed as well. Okay, so I've won initiative this time, and now I'm going to really decelerate down so I can make much tighter turns. And you can see if I can get down to 0 to 2 or 3 to 5 velocity, it's much easier for me to spend thrust points. So I'm going to drop to 4. So I'm going to decelerate twice, 1, 2, and now I can go forward 2 or 3, change, could even go forward 3, spend 2 thrust to change facing to there, and spend another 2 thrust to change facing there. That's not going to work. I could go forward 1 to change facing for 2 thrust points. I'm at 6 velocity now because I've cancelled it. So 6 velocity is 3 points. So actually maybe that would work. Let's try that. I can go forward, say for instance 3, change facing, and then spend another 3, change facing, and spend another 3, change facing, and that would be 9 thrust points. I can even do that right behind him. Let's do that right behind him. Go there. Now that's the best I can do actually, because I can't. Oh, actually I can actually spend more. I can change more hex facing. It's not just 1 hex facing. I can change 2 hex facings like that. So 1, 2, there you go. So I can actually change more hex facings than 1. That's me thinking of Aerospace, but I'm actually right behind him now. But again, I've exceeded my structural integrity, and that's going to have consequences. It's going to make me have 2 control rolls. 1 control roll at the beginning, there we go, for exceeding. So you must make the following piling check because thrust spent exceeds current structural integrity. And there we go. So I've made that, and I don't lose any structural integrity. But now I'm right behind the opponent. So let's open up. And since I can use left wing and right wing, but I've lost 1 medium laser. Quite a devastating hit there. On the nose. Oh, I was hit on the nose because he fired his small lasers from the rear, and I got hits on the right wing, aft, aft, left wing, aft. Now they have to make a control roll because I have to make a control roll because I spent thrust during the turn exceeding structural integrity, and that causes me to go out of control. So now in the out of control phase, what will happen is for every 1 velocity I have, my movement will be random and I can't spend thrust. So this is going to be quite interesting to see what happens here. So my current velocity is still 6. So now I'm out of control. So actually, does it allow me to move? No, it allows me to move, but I think it then introduces a random movement as well. So if I go ahead 3, I can then spend free thrust here, and then spend free thrust here, and spend free thrust here, and turn away all the way around. And I'll get another control roll, but I also then, for each one, actually get a random movement as well. So what's going to happen here, I'm not sure. Let's have a look. So instead of doing that, I've just gone forward 6. So actually it didn't matter what I'd chosen as my movements. It's just sent me forward 6. And for some reason my opponent didn't do anything. And so I need to make a control roll to regain control, which I do. So, oh no, I failed. 3, I'm out of control again. And again, my velocity remains the same. So it doesn't matter what I do here, because any movement I choose is just going to come up as moving forward 6. So that might seem confusing, but that's the reason why. So I just basically keep moving forward at my current velocity, not able to spend any thrust. I'm not sure what my opponent's doing. I'm not sure if the Princess is very good at flying space. I think they lost initiative, so they had to move first. So I'm back in control now, though, and I won initiative. So the Corsair comes towards me, and now I can come around and we'll be back in a joust situation here. And I'm still at velocity. And I can cut my velocity down. I can decelerate twice. And if I'm at velocity 4, that's only 2 thrust points for changing direction. So that's 2, and I can even I don't even need to actually move. I can just decelerate twice and spend 8, go up to 8 by spending 6 to spin around 180 degrees and then come back. And again, spending more structural integrity, so more chance of there being a structural integrity loss. Now we're back head to head again. And my right wing is out of arc. So Princess lands all the hits on my nose, down to 44 armor, and I've taken a heatsink damage, which is actually going to be quite bad. A couple of hits on the left wing, a couple of hits on the nose. So these corsairs are really quite tough. So they have already moved, and so I should be able to get in behind them. So I'm going to accelerate 1, that's 1 thrust point, puts me there. Because I'm on 5 thrust points, it costs me 2 thrust points to change direction. So if I go to there, and I can spin 180 degrees, which costs me 6 thrust points, right behind them. And fire everything. But I've lost 1 heatsink, so that's going to put me 7 over. Put some good hits there. Left wing, right wing, left wing. Chewing through armor. Oh, down to 9 armor on the aft. And now I've failed my out of control roll again. Now this is an interesting one here, because I will keep going. This is not really again following Newtonian physics, but I'm going to keep going in the direction of the aerospace fighter with my current velocity, which is 5. And so now, depending on the initiative, Princess should be able to get into a really good roll. So I lost initiative. So again, it doesn't matter what I put in here. If I click move, it will just send me forward. And now they've come in behind me, so now I get the pain. Also, because I'm out of control, it makes it harder for me to shoot. So I get a +2 for being out of control to shoot backwards with my 2 rear firing lasers. Ooh, more pain. So right wing, critical hit on the laser. Another heatsink destroyed. Still alive, but not good. And I regain control at the end of the turn. So lose initiative. That's going to make it a bit more difficult. So I think I'll go forward and then spin around 2. Spin around 3. So oh, for some reason it won't let me do that. That's interesting. I think it's because I just need to hit turn. There we go. So I'm moving 6 thrust. So I spin around, but I still need to make my structural integrity roll. And I suffered structural integrity because I rolled a 3. So my structural integrity is down to 4. But Princess did something weird. I don't know why Princess did that, but Princess turned, and now Princess hasn't got me on her arc. So I've lost both medium lasers though. And I get a control hit, which means they're possibly out of control. And nose, right wing, so still chewing through armor. Lose initiative again, but they didn't go out of control. So let's try just decelerating. Decelerate 4, and then we're just going to cut movement and go forward 1 and see if we can catch them in the side. So what's the Corsair doing? Corsair's accepting the joust, and we're just going to open up on each other, and I'm 6 heat over, so I might have a chance of random movement. It's another exchange of weapons there. Still eating through armor. And I needed to make a 5+ roll because of my heat. And I finally won initiative, so this could be good. So the Corsair flies straight that way, and I'm going to accelerate once, puts me on 2, so I go 1, and I can change direction, go to here, go 2, and then I can actually, because I'm only moving at speed 2, it only costs me 1 thrust point to change direction, and so I can turn 180 degrees for 5 thrust points. That's still above my structural integrity, but I can spin all the way around and open up from the side. And I miss everything. Wow. Just the 2 small lasers hit. And I have to make another 5+ roll, otherwise do random movement. And this time I've lost the initiative, so I'm going to accelerate a couple of times, and I'm going to spend six to spin around. I have to make a structural integrity roll, which I pass, and we're getting back in it. Oh, and I failed another structural integrity roll. I've actually got fatigue now because I've got the fatigue optional roll on. So I'm only down to 3 structural integrity now. This is getting worse and worse. Both stripping off armor. Again, I miss with one of the large lasers. Down to 2 armor in the nose. And now I rolled a 2 for my heat check. So now I get random movement. So I plot which movement I want to do. To go forward 4, and it doesn't let me do anything else. All I can do is go forward 4, and then I'll just get 4 rolls on the random movement table. And strangely enough, we both end up in a situation where we are not able to fire on each other. I won initiative on that one, so this should be nice and easy. I'm going to decelerate twice. Oh, I'm still in random movement, so I can't do anything. And I got hit by another control roll. So do I pass that control roll? Yes, so I regain control. And win initiative. So this should be decisive, hopefully. They've spun around, and I can... I don't know if I can get to the rear. 1. If I accelerate 1, that's 1 acceleration point, and then 2 points to change facing, and then 2 points to change facing to there, 2 points to change facing to there, 2 points to there. That means a total of 8 thrust points, 9 thrust points because I accelerated, and this time I passed my structural integrity roll. And should, considering the amount of armor they've got in their rear, should be able to finish them off with this shot. And I take 2 rear hits, and there we go. So we've got a control hit. I rolled a critical, went into structural integrity on the aft. Aft got hit again, 0 structural integrity remaining, and they eject. And the engine was hit as well. So victory there. I do think Princess on space isn't brilliant. You know, it does make some interesting choices, but the movement is very different in this compared to playing on atmosphere. Not having to worry about those free, or not getting those free changes of direction as you're flying, and having to spend thrust on all of your changes of direction, and then having to worry about the structural integrity tests is quite an issue. And even then, I went out of control, but since my opponent's exploded, I think I can cope with that. So next time, I think we might have a look at the advanced movement rules, and then hopefully in a couple of days' time, we'll be setting up some dogfights from PvP dogfights. Until then, happy flying.